It's real. It's legit. It's authentic.
Real, legit, authentic. For the jump, Andre 3000 of the big boy Andre 3K hip hop duo Outcast from
Yes.
ATL Legends and Dungeon Fam has, after 17 years, after Idlewild, finally released a new album coming out, and we gonna have some Buster Rhymes, hard hitting, boom bap rapping. Is that right? Is that right?
He's bringing back Goody Mob. He's gonna have
CeeLo Green.
yeah, he's gonna have Scarface on here. He's gonna have Killer Mike.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm pumped.
He's gonna have Future on here as well.
I mean, Lil Wayne,
AKA
maybe.
Meathead. Like,
I mean, I'm excited for this.
Well, Rick Ross is gonna be on here.
I mean, I'm excited for this hard hitting hip hop album.
And you got DJ Khaled.
Yes, Khaled. I'm excited about this because clearly we're gonna be listening to some hard hitting hip hop.
Yeah, he gonna have some. Look, these gonna be the best bars of 2023.
I agree. So let's go ahead and play and let's see what these hard hitting.
We haven't heard this before. We have no idea what we're about.
We have no idea what we're gonna listen to. Okay, so we obviously before the kick and snare drop, before the hard hitting bars.
This title kind of strange. It says, "I swear I really wanted to make a rap album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me." That is the literal song title. I'm not.
It already sounds like a damn haiku. Now listen, either this is rap or it's not. This is not. I wanted to make a rap album. Man, I could have top 10 charting hits if all of my songs were just titles. I wanted to create this type of song, but it wasn't.
Yeah, what are we gonna get here?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm waiting to see. All right, so we got like a small trapped chipmunk that's making some sounds. I think
it's like very ambient. To me, it sounds like the start of what do they call it? The new wave hip hop beat music. The
vaporwave.
No, the lo-fi. It sounds like a lo-fi beats intro.
I can see that.
Like that's the way it's starting, but I don't know where it's about to go.
Okay, so we got some brushes on the hi-hats. I know what that. I used to drum back when I was a teenager. I had a whole drum kit, and I used to drum, and those brushes. It takes skill to be able to.
Very interesting, like pad, like a stellar pad. Pretty familiar with those pads. Sometimes they can be a little overbearing though, like you need to drop them in and out depending on the situation. But he's just letting this pad ride.
I know, just waiting for that trill, snare roll and the 808 beats, which I know are probably coming.
Yeah,
pretty soon. I know we're gonna hear some,
or even like a boom boom.
Yeah,
a boom boom.
Yes,
boom, boom.
I could hear that.
I could hear that on here.
I could hear that.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for obviously just an intro, just before the rapping begins. Cooler than a polar bear's toenails. Oh hell, there he goes again, talking that shit. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Okay, so it's a long intro, but Drake had long intros too.
Yes.
On For All the Dogs.
Yes,
I think this could be a Drake song. So far, there's no distinction.
I can.
I mean, as far as like an instrumental lead up,
yes.
this could still be,
and then it like switches up, like almost Travis Scott style, like
right
at
with
the middle.
The dropout. So there's probably going to be a dropout soon. Then Andre 3000 is going to come through with some hard hitting raps. Okay, so now we got the beat. All right, so the beat's coming through. What is this? What the hell was that? What was going on with that crap? That's like a flute. A flute?
Okay, a flute. My friend said this was good flute music.
What?
Look, many of y'all don't know. When I was in 5th and 6th grade band, I was given a family instrument. That family instrument was the flute.
No.
So I can legit critique the quality of flute music. Don't you at me. Don't you try to be like, he don't know nothing about playing the flute. I actually played the flute.
Okay.
And I played jazz flute. So it wasn't just like the easy flute. It was the hard stuff.
Yeah.
I did a couple of Christmas recitals as well. I almost got first chair before I dropped out. Because I didn't think I
why don't you go ahead and message Andre on his Twitter and at him with a bunch of comments about flutes and be like, hey, look, I didn't like your trill on this bar. I felt like you could have done better.
I'm just saying the flute is such a prominent instrument in hip hop, right? And I think that there's been some really good flute music throughout hip hop. So it's like I'm gonna judge him based on that, right? Like the fact that there, like
You
think
know,
about it.
there was a track by this underground West Coast hip hop artist called Bus Driver.
Mhm,
How can you see my shadow? It's a really interesting flute that plays for the beat, and it's actually one of the few songs I have heard where the flute is very dominant.
mhm.
It's a good track.
I, I feel bad that I'm forgetting her name right now. She's like one of the most famous female black artists. She just came into that controversy.
Alicia Keys,
No, the big girl, the big black
Lizzo,
girl, Lizzo.
yeah,
Lizzo is actually a professional flutist, so she plays the flute at all of her concerts. She actually like trains
right.
and runs with the flute. So if
And
I gauge his fluting ability with hers, you think that's fair?
I think
Because she
it's
is kind of a hip hop artist.
I think it's more than fair. But I would
Okay.
just call her fluty. Whereas I would call Andre 3000 inventive, interesting. You know, with the whole Atlian's album, he introduced a different narrative to hip hop, where instead
Yeah.
of what a lot of people stereotype rap for about the guns and the drugs and the women, the cars, whatever, he had this interesting black excellence, black astronaut kind of
Yeah.
perspective about not being fully accepted. And I think Andre's ability to constantly leave you guessing is part of the appeal.
This reminds me of like this abstract 80s album I used to listen to called Deep Breakfast.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember I gotta let me look up the artist because he's
Deep
really dope.
Breakfast.
Yeah, he just made like this kind of out there electronica abstract project. And
Yeah,
this is exactly what this sounds like to me.
interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, in hip hop, you can't really age gracefully. There's no country for old men, and so for for someone to take a 17-year break, we've talked about Kendrick Lamar's unnecessarily long 5-year break from doing hip hop, and he comes through with Mr. Morale, which could probably have done better, and now we have Andre 3000 with a 17-year gap coming through, but he's reinvented himself.
It's Deep Breakfast by Ray Lynch, 1984.
Oh
He
yeah,
had and he had a follow up to that called to the Deep Breakfast Project. Uh, and I really he was called New Age Classical Space Music Adult Contemporary.
interesting.
And
I'll check it out.
this is I, I I don't think this is a better version of that, but this it sounds almost identical. How long is this song? I think I saw 15 minutes.
I think it was 15 hours. Let's see, it's 12
12
minutes.
minutes. Oh,
12
okay.
minutes.
Close to 15.
Yeah, 12 minutes. We can skip ahead a little. And,
It's not very dynamic. It's definitely a background
it's some
sound.
coffee
Yeah,
shop music,
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
My homie said this do well in the Buddhist temples and on like like a silent runway walk or something like that. Where you're
yes, a
like,
silent runway walk. That's what this music is for. Congratulations to Andre 3000. You have now created Vogue's fashion line 2024 runway music. Coming up next. All right, so let's go ahead and
let's go to the next track.
skip on to the next track, and let's see the
I just
next.
want to read the titles because they're so
So
crazy.
so now the next track for the title is
The slang word pussy rolls off the tongue with far better ease than the proper word vagina.
well, I can't argue that.
No,
You,
that's
you can't argue semantics.
no, yeah, I mean that's. But is the song as good as?
This well, look.
Does this
All,
remind you of getting some action?
all I
'Cause
gotta say is that revenge is the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. But and that's totally an original line. So but what,
R.I.P. Tupac.
yes, yes, or rip. But what I would say for this, maybe this is Andre 3000 kind of making fun of the shallowness of Drake for all the dogs. But so actually, where this originated from is Andre 3000 made a move from New York City to Los Angeles. And he met this dude at like a coffee shop or a health food store or whatever called Carlos Nino.
Mhm.
And this guy is kind of a jazz heavyweight. He does a lot of experimental jazz fusion type songs.
Okay.
And basically, Andre 3000 had been going through this Where's Waldo phase, where fans never knew what to expect of him,
Yeah,
never
for
knew where
sure.
they'd spot him. But he'd be practicing his flute or just having an improv jam in a park or the Starbucks or whatever, and fans was like be snapping pictures of him. And Andre was saying that he felt like that didn't represent his style more completely. So when he linked up with Carlos Nino, they started having basement improvisation jams, similar to the whole style and setup of the Denton family came from, right back in the day in 2002 when that first started jumping up, which great albums. With a great album they came out with, Into the Darkness or whatever. I think that's what it's called. Into the Light is one of the songs of the Follow Me Into the Light. I forget what it's called. It's a really dope track. But I love that album. So in a similar kind of organic fashion, over the past year, Carlos Nino and a few other jazz musicians joined Andre 3000 to have these jams that he didn't really take seriously until he called Tyler, the Creator, over and said, "Hey, check this out. What do you think about that?" And after Tyler, the Creator, was like, "Man, this is interesting. I feel like you kind of come into your own in a lot of ways." That's when
Yeah.
he started really seriously considering maybe
And
I
who
should
better
release
than
this
Tyler Creator to give him
as
that
an album.
input because
Yeah.
he really stepped out of his boundaries with the Igor project, and I think he wanted it to be represented as a pop album, but because he was a rapper, they were like, no, it's a rap album. But if you listen to Igor, it's far from a rap album, and I think it's interesting that he was telling Andre like, "Yo, just do it, man." I mean, and sometimes that's what you got to do. Like, regardless of what people are gonna think about what you're doing, uh, you have to follow through if you have a vision for something. I mean, regardless if I'm gonna love this project or not, I think that Andre once again shocks people, right?
Well, at least
That's what
he's
he's always
releasing
done.
music, damn it.
Yeah.
He's taking the first step.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so in this interview on NPR, one of the things that he was talking about, which maybe I haven't kept up with his interviews well enough, or maybe he just hasn't given very many, but he said for the first time that he is not a freestyler. He doesn't freestyle. He's never had that ability.
Mm.
I've never heard him openly admit to that and state that so succinctly until this recent interview. Just this week, just like three days ago, he did this interview. And so one of the things that reminds me of is is on the track Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac, Andre 3000 raps. He says, "The Phil Sucker MC stepped up to me, challenged Andre to a battle, and I stood there patiently. As he spit and stumbled over cliches, so-called freestyle, and whole purpose was just to make me feel low. I guess you wildin'. I say, look, boy, I ain't for that fuck shit, so fuck this. Let me explain only child style, so don't." And so now I'm thinking, wow, this kind of adds context to the Atlian's album and that specific song, where he just wasn't a freestyle. That wasn't his thing.
Well, I've said this in the past. I know that rap battling has become obviously a huge part of hip hop culture. But I personally prefer the cycle format where you're not battling. You're vibing, you're coming up with stuff off the chest, but you're trying to be witty. You're not just sitting there trying to demoralize you. I remember when the early trap era, it got to the point where, people, it wasn't just like, like diss lines used to be a lot more like casual and more about like this is somebody's style. But it got to the point in the early trap era where it was like, oh, I'm gonna run up and kill your mama. Like people would say that type of stuff in the battle, like real disrespectful shit. Where it'd be like after this battle, I feel like I should fight you. And it's like, in my opinion, I think that battling brings good things and also bad things.
Well, and what's worse about it is that when they were battling these, it evolved into this trading versus thing instead of a showmanship skill contest where you're on stage and you got nothing but your imagination to go up bar for bar. That's the battle that I grew up with and cut my teeth on that I like.
Not the spoken word. I wrote a
I wrote
3-hour verse. I mean, I can respect either way. I just don't. I think I hate the fact that battling has to be a part of hip hop. Like, what other genre do they really do that in? Maybe a little bit in rock, a little bit.
I mean,
but,
I like it if it's about showmanship. If it's about
True.
how clever can you be. Now, if you try to take it personal, like Pusha T did with Drake, or this recent
Or
Joe Budden and Drake does, where Drake is still butthurt about this kind of stuff. That's
or
different.
Pac and Biggie, where it's like
It's life or
Whoa, like
death.
yeah, exactly. It's getting intense.
Yeah, it's
What
different.
what we got on the next track?
This is a 13-minute track.
Yeah,
So
I don't think
all right.
these songs seem to
So
be
so
pretty much.
coming up next, we got that night in Hawaii when I turned into a panther and started making these low register purring panther sounds. So this so the background
Maybe a little bit of experimentation with
so
some substances
so the
involved.
so the background for that track is that Andre 3000 was doing ayahuasca,
That's
where
what
you
I was
take
thinking.
this crap and vomit it up and then have an experience. And it's like that's what we call Sixth Street on Friday night. Here, they want to pay $5,000 to do it in the forest. That's fine. That's
Look,
fine.
I've met many a person at a music festival that were having some
Yeah,
experience.
I mean, hey, it's legit for them. But so apparently on his ayahuasca experience, he ended up growling like a panther for a long time.
I mean,
And
that's actually become a really popular thing.
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers, a very famous NFL football player, quarterback, kind of had got, did a darkness retreat, and he did like the ayahuasca stuff. He said
yeah,
that it like cleared his mental, supposedly helped him be a better player. I don't know how much of that is true or not true, but it's interesting how mainstream that is. Like,
it is
to,
very
to take
mainstream.
psychedelics is mainstream.
Yeah, this is legalization of everything everywhere.
But it used to be like that was the hippie thing. It was like a certain segment of culture, and it was
Yeah,
taboo. Nobody really talked about it outside of it. That segment of culture. Now it's like almost, you got authors writing books about how humanity was kind of kickstarted by
yeah.
people, and then you talk about the animals that actually lick the frogs and stuff like that. So it's like very interesting how that has kind of segued itself into society as a normal aspect.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Phil. We'll go into much deeper details on this in our Don't Do Drugs podcast. Okay. But yeah, so this track is basically his interpretation. So all of this, if y'all didn't know, is improvisation, which means he's making this up on the spot. This
Yeah.
entire album is doing that. Now, I grew up doing improvisation. I grew up doing music jams with various people. My dad ran this Craigslist back when Craigslist wasn't creepy, and got random musicians from all over the world to come to our house and jam on the weekends and play different music, all improv. That was where I cut my teeth as well, is improvisation. You get in that mode, like a Mortal Concerts with Miles Davis and John Coltrane, where they're communicating almost telepathically through the instruments what their emotions are or descriptions of events. It's incredible. And so I think Andre is tapping into that here with Carlos Nino and the other musicians.
I think for me, when I really got into it was when I owned my studio. I hadn't had a lot of experience outside of band with instrumentation, but I got a chance to play around on the bass, play around on the guitar, do like really intense things with the piano, and just have fun with it, right? Like I feel like that's kind of where he's at. Like instead of having to be so serious and cover some of the topics that he had to deal with in his Outcast days, and be in the kind of fisticuffs of hip hop and trying to make sure that the South was represented, like talk about politics and all the stuff that they covered as a
Yeah.
group. This is him letting go of all of that
Well,
and
it is. It
just doing what he felt like, right? Like
It, it,
that's a
I mean,
harder place to be in sometimes.
I mean, it is. I think him and Kendrick Lamar share the same thing where he's been diagnosed, Andre has, with social anxiety disorders. And
Mm,
it's something where he's had to deal with. So that compounded with his need for isolation to
okay.
figure stuff out. I mean, you look at the stuff he's gone through over the years, Miss Jackson reached #1 on Billboard. What was that about? That was about his breakup with Erica Badu. Now, it's crazy because you think about breakup songs or songs about women in hip hop,
Yeah.
shaking things, thank you, leg. You think
Yeah.
about all the
Yeah.
stuff you hear. Very few of these songs go into depth and actually make you want to dance. And for a breakup song, Miss Jackson is
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
That's one of the most hottest tracks that has ever been created. So he's gone through this journey
Mhm.
over the years where his style is metamorphed. And, he's been Grammy nominated for just the features that he's done in the 17 years between Idlewild and its release,
Yeah.
whether that's with Jay-Z or Beyonce or T.I., where he's collaborated with their albums. Even his song with Drake uh, that was that he did. What was it called? What was that song he did with Drake that was actually supposed to be on Donda, and then it got so Block for the Party, I think it's called,
Okay.
and it was supposed to be on Donda, but due to the beef with Ye and then Drake, it was taken off of Donda.
Wow.
And Andre's like, hey, look, I respect Kanye, I respect, Drake. I'm not trying to be part of
Cause no
the beef,
issues. Yeah.
but it is going to be on now Drake's release instead of Ye's.
Wow.
Because Ye wouldn't allow Andre 3000 to curse, and because Kanye wouldn't allow Andre 3000 to curse, that song then got shifted to Drake. Interesting.
Yeah.
He hasn't been quiet. He's been making royalty monies. He's been getting major features. He's been active, but he's not releasing projects.
The artists that I feel like are truthfully, more in that retirement space. I mean, he doesn't have to do anything anymore. He proved his point as far as rap is concerned, right? And is considered a legend and is a legend. So it's like, why keep rapping?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, with Mos Def, right? We really, really wanted him to make some more music, and then when he dropped that new project with Talib, we were like less than impressed. It's like, would that be really how we like if Andre dropped a subpar rap album, right? Wouldn't that be the same thing? Wouldn't we just feel like, although it's like in our minds, it's like he could do no wrong. He can't drop a subpar rap album. He could.
Well,
potentially.
And I think that's where a lot of people have felt like, if Andre came back with that style that he got so famous for, which was constantly shifting and changing, album to album, whatever that style of not having a specific style, right?
Sure,
exactly. Despite him not freestyling, ironically, that if we heard the same thing, would we want that? I don't know. And so, in a way, this is truly owed to Andre 3000's being one of the most unpredictable artists. That's,
100%.
For true Andre 3000 fans, one thing we've learned over the years is to expect the unexpected. So next up, we got the next track, which is Bipolar Disorder. Only it's bipolar disorder, a nice play on words, like Ralph Polo, but also bipolar for psychology. Bipolar disorder's daughter wears a 3000 copyright R shirt embroidered. Okay. I'm still waiting for them Busta Rhymes hard boom back. It's gonna come.
I just want to sample this album at this point. Like I want to throw some drums on it, you know what I'm saying? Find a couple parts, loop it up, you know what I'm saying? Do the traditional hip hop thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
of course.
It's like, and then I could be like, yo, I sampled
Andre 3000, right? That's cool. Yeah. So bipolar is the fourth track here, and we got a few more tracks coming up next. But I think what's interesting to me is that he's such a self-aware artist. One of the things that he talked about in this interview on NPR is that he said that his homies are clowning him about the flute. He's like, what's with this flute, fool? Like, why are you like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
And Andre was like, "Look, I'm self-aware of this. Like, I get the joke. I get the joke. I'm in on the joke," is what he said. He's like, "I would ask the same questions of me too." That's what the response was. All right. But we still asking those questions. And so this is interesting.
You need something?
So this is that's nice. Whatever they were doing there, I thought that was pretty interesting. One of the things that is really cool about Andre 3000 is his versatility and his ability to continue switching styles up no matter what happened. From the first album that came out, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, to Atlians, so many great hits on there that we all know and love. I think Andre 3000 has this unique ability to change his approach to hip hop based on who he collabs with, because who he collaborated with over the years is so many different artists. As a result of that, he's created this unique adoptive, amorphous style that continues to change. And I- I think it's fascinating. Um, One of the things that is really cool about Andre 3000, at least for me personally, when it comes to Outkast, Big Boy from back in the day. When did Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music drop? Was that 96, I think? Somewhere
95, 96, yeah,
95, yeah,
around
somewhere
there,
around
yeah.
there. So,
AT Aliens came out in 96, so like maybe even 94, 95.
yeah,
Like
maybe 94.
they
I
that
think
was the thing is they were a very early 90s group, even though they kind of transcended that time period.
oh,
You
they
know, you
did.
gotta think about like how long their run was, but they kind of started early in the game, and they changed their style every project.
Yeah.
My
That's
son likes the project. He's in the back. He's like vibing to the flute music. He seems to be pretty calm. So maybe I'll put
that's
this on again to make sure
yeah,
he can meditate a little bit. I
that's
mean,
cool. And what track do we have up coming up next?
say he's unbiased. You know me, I'm biased because I know
What
this
track do
one's
we got coming up
this one's
next?
93 till Affinity and Beyonce.
Okay, so I've heard that title before. It is not original, except for and Beyonce.
Yeah. I think he's doing a play on the Toy Story to infinity and beyond. That's
That's
what he's trying to.
oh nice.
Yeah,
Buzz
yeah,
Lightyear
yeah, exactly.
to infinity and beyond.
That's why it's like to
That's
infinity and Beyonce.
that's
But the
nice.
93 to infinity is the social mischief. So he's like blending those two
Yeah,
concepts.
that's nice. I would say one of the cool things about Outkast and about Andre 3000 in particular is his voice is embedded in my childhood. I'm 16 years old. It's
Mm,
1999. I'm working at a burrito shop. I'm living in a homeless shelter, right? And
mhm.
one of my coworkers hands me this mixtape he made on cassette of hip hop
Yeah,
songs. And so the hip hop songs were a combination of underground music, whether it's Midwest, typical cats from Chi Town area, right?
yeah,
Or we got like West Coast underground hip hop like the Grouch
yeah.
and or even Dr. Octagon, right?
Mm,
Dr. Octagon's song Blue Flowers, and he's from NYC, right?
mhm.
Was on this one cassette tape. I have no idea where that cassette tape is at, but guess what was also on there? Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. So in 1999, I'm 16, I'm homeless, I'm working at a burrito shop, and my homie hands me this cassette tape, and that was my introduction to Outkast and the Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. I'll never forget that.
It's so crazy how um I always thought back, like who was my favorite, who was my favorite. I could definitely say Nas, but Outkast had a more spiritual impact on me musically. I was there for the bars, right? But from like a musicality standpoint, from a production standpoint, what Outkast was putting together was just surreal, right? And every time I listened to their music, it always brought me into the headspace I needed to be. Maybe not where I wanted to be, but like just the realness of everything that they did and the way that they structured things. It all made sense because it was like they were trying to find clarity in this hood lifestyle that they grew up in out of Georgia, and it's like it's it's uh it's just so potent that their music, and I think anytime I listen to any project that they've done, it just takes me right back, right? Like
It
you
takes
said,
you
it
back.
takes you back to that moment when you
Yeah.
first heard it. And I remember, sifting through my brother's CDs and seeing that ATLians cover, and I'm like, "What the
Oh
hell is
man.
this?"
Yeah.
And I pop it in the PlayStation One at that time. It could play CDs, and I started bumping it, and I'm just like, "Yo!" I didn't even know about Southern Playalistic Cadillac music, right? Like, I think I heard that one after I heard ATL,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because that one had already been out. I had heard songs from it, but I didn't really. I had to go back to that one, but I just think about that experience,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Because it's like
amazing. I would say
hearing something for the
Outkast.
first time is so crazy,
Yeah, Outkast is mood music. I would
for
definitely say
sure.
that more than Joe Budden. It is mood music in the sense that it'll put you in a mood. And for me, it has always been that way. That if I am feeling lethargic, if I'm feeling like I need to get up, get out, and get something, right, and do
Yeah,
something, I put on Outkast.
yeah,
Outkast helps lift my mood. It helps shift my energy,
yeah.
and it always is a pick me up when I listen to Outkast.
This one's crazy. This title, Gandhi,
Dalai
Dalai
Lama,
Lama, your Lord and Savior, JC.
JC. Bundy,
Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Dahmer,
Dahmer.
and John Wayne Gacy. I'm glad he put a slash. Like it's like
But you
the
know why he put a slash? It's in front of Bundy, as in a slasher.
that
That is clearly a sub right here.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
we've seen in these titles, we're showing the only lyricism that we're getting now is in the title
Titles.
creation.
Yes,
of Andre.
yes. These are the longest rap titles ever.
Yes.
Song titles, I mean.
I'm just waiting for like the hidden track to come through, and then all of a sudden, Big Boy's on there, and so is Andre, and they're just trading bar for bar.
Man. He's not gonna give that to us. He told us on the first track. He's gonna have like that 4-bar verse like Offset did on the Baby song. It's just gonna be 4 bars somewhere randomly in these 15-minute tracks.
Or
they rap, and then you gotta listen to the whole project to find it.
Or it'll be some existentialist crisis like Lupe Fiasco. Rappers die too much. That's the verse. And that's it. That's
sheesh.
I could as an Andre like move. I could see Andre doing a Lupe existential crisis type lyrics right there. But man, I would love to see some
light versus dark here, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Fantasia with Disney, right? And you've got like the magician's apprentice with like the dancing mob trying to figure out the magic, and it's going back and forth. You know, that's that reminds me of a lot. It's kind of very, very big orchestral sounds.
Yeah.
But also spacey. So this is now we're at Jupiter. So now we've gone past all the other planets. Now we're at Jupiter.
I'm also thinking if you added some drums and guitar, we would have a Radiohead track on our hands.
I think you need a stronger rhythm guitar for that.
No, I'm saying that if you added that, that's not there right now. And of course, you need the lead singer from Radiohead. But I'm saying like this is like in that space where they can go really out there in terms of the way that their production is.
I would say this reminds me more of John Coltrane with the faded in crescendos and decrescendos of the Crash. That's what it reminds me of. Coltrane does that a lot, and so that's whoever the drummer is that he's working with. Well, he provides these kind of rolling arpeggios throughout this track, which he's leaning on more heavily than the other tracks.
Yeah,
from what I've heard so far, which is cool. But yeah, this is definitely going to be more re-listens on my part, but I won't be singing along. So the next track, we got is "Ants to You, Gods to Who," and let's peep this out. Okay, I do like this intro. This sounds like almost human singing, but it's not. It's like a vocalizer.
It's like a theremin.
It's like
I think that's the name of that.
Oh yeah, it almost sounds like there's a vox on someone's voice as an instrument. It's nice. See what this evolves into. I could see this in like some Arizona desert at a mountaintop, kind of watching coyotes howl at the moon type shit. That's what I'm getting from
Staring
this.
at Aurora Borealis and shit.
Yeah,
type shit.
That's what I get. Were you on drugs when you made this, Andre?
I mean, he definitely 100%. There's no way he made this
straight.
Yeah, it's not possible.
No, this is real interesting. I think this is actually probably my favorite track so far. It seems a lot more dynamic and interesting.
That is one of my issues with a lot of this. It's a little too backgroundy.
Yeah,
and he's not like, it doesn't feel like he's breaking out, but this one does have a build up.
Yeah, it's more dynamic. I feel like you can feel there's more elements and dimensions on this track. All I need to do is put a drum to it, and then we can rap to it, and now we have an Andre 3000 new rap track.
Yo, let us know if y'all want to hear us freestyle, like put some drum, because we could do this. We're producers as well. We could put some beats to this, some boom bap or any type of drum pattern to this and rap over this. We could freestyle over it. Like, just let us know. We can do this. Like on any live, if y'all want to hear us freestyle, let us know in the comments. I know y'all might not think we got bars, We don't normally rap on here, but we will if we need to. If we need to show y'all how sharp our blade is, and you know what I'm saying, we you know what I'm
All right, Wesley. We'll talk about blades unless we talk about taxes too. But so dreams once buried beneath the dungeon floor slowly spout into undying gardens. So one of the things about this track specifically he talked about is that this is referencing the Dungeon family, and he's feeling nostalgic in this track for that Dungeon family era.
Looks like we got some comments on there.
So that's what it's looking like.
Oh, okay.
And so I would say this is more along the style of his other tracks. It's again a little too backgroundy, because one of the things that I learned when I was doing improvisational music jams, I played the melodica, I played the guitar, I played piano, I played the drums, I did a bunch of different multi-instrument improv jams back in the 90s, is there's this moment when someone steps up and plays lead and you give them the space to do so, whether it's the drum solo, the sax solo, the flute solo, the piano solo, the melodica solo, right? Whatever. We don't see any of that here. This is very background.
A lot of this,
texture.
it's texture, and it would sound great on like a movie or something like that, but definitely like something where I feel like he's not super present, as a flutist, and I think that might have been the last track. What was the 9 tracks?
This is 8 tracks, and
okay.
And so this is the last track, and I think it would, to his credit, I think Andre 3000. Let's share some of his words for what he talked about this album. This is one of the things he said when he was interviewed by NPR about this album. He said, "So for me, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's the cool and scary thing about it. And I think as an artist, you kind of got to put yourself out there to be prepared to respond. And I'm a responding person. That's what I am. I'm responding to what's given to me. It's responding to my contemporaries. It's responding to what I love. As an artist, you have to have really strong antennas. That's what it's really about. So where I am at now is where I'm supposed to be. I couldn't plan it. I've seen artists transcend themselves." I think that's a good way to wrap up. What did you guys think about this most recent album by Andre 3000? Dropped basically yesterday, and it's no rapping on here, no bars, but the titles are clever, and he's trying to express himself, I think, in a beyond Andre 3000.
This is definitely a stream of consciousness thing, right? You know?
Has Andre 3000 transcended himself? You decide. Let us know in the comments. Comment below, like and subscribe, and tune in for another episode of
From the Jump.